are searching the Thunder Bay landfill as part of an ongoing homicide investigation. Good evening, I'm Haley Perot alongside Ryan Benazzo. Thank you for joining us. 42-year-old Deborah Anishinaabe was murdered in December of last year.
City police made an arrest soon after, but investigators then spent months searching the North McKellar Street area for reasons that were never disclosed. Police confirmed today they're now focusing their efforts on the city landfill and searching for possible human remains. Justin Hardy reports.
Deborah Anishinaabe was last seen alive on December 5th in the 100 block of Simpson Street. Just over a week later, her remains were discovered near the area of North McKellar and Finlayson Streets. 25-year-old Levi Michael Lawson was charged with indignity to a human body and then later with second-degree murder. The investigation into the homicide continued with searches in multiple areas of the south side of Thunder Bay. Now, police believe that there is more evidence, including partial human remains, to be found in the Thunder Bay landfill.
The searches for related evidence, which may include possible partial human remains. I recognize that this is a traumatic and impactful investigation for many in the community. And I also recognize, of course, the connection to the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls that is brought to the forefront by this investigation and by this development in the investigation.
Anishinaabe Aski Nation has released a statement from Anishinaabe's family that reads, "Deborah will always be remembered for her radiant, bubbly spirit and the warmth she carried wherever she went. She was eagerly pursuing a career in healthcare. She poured every ounce of that same compassion into the people she cared for." Nan also offered condolences for Anishinaabe's friends, family, and community that read, "We had always hoped Deborah would be returned to her loving family. This investigation has been heartbreaking, and the next phase will be especially difficult for the family. We will continue to support them throughout the investigation process to ensure they receive the justice they deserve." Pearson says the search for answers in Anishinaabe's murder has also weighed heavily on investigators.
First and foremost, our thoughts are with the family and loved ones of Deborah, the victim of this crime. However, it bears note that an investigation like this takes a toll on investigators. There are long hours to be worked. There are upsetting details that are uncovered, and the subject itself can be impactful and traumatizing. So our investigators do wonderful work. They work tirelessly, and they've been dedicated to the pursuit of this investigation.
Anyone with information related to the investigation is asked to contact Thunder Bay Police or submit tips anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
With the Hilliard lands now the official site for Thunder Bay's temporary shelter village, city staff are moving on to next steps.
That includes finalizing the design build and the operator request of proposals. The city officials held a news conference this afternoon to provide an update, but very few specific details or timelines were shared. Jessica Clement reports.
After a 2-week pause due to a city council motion to potentially rescind Hilliard as the site for the shelter village, which failed to pass, work at the property off of Alloy Place will now go ahead. A site informal safety evaluation is complete with no significant issues found. Any risks that were flagged will be addressed and incorporated into the site design.
Things like sight lines, fencing, emergency access points, making sure that we have 2 of those.
Director of Strategy and Engagement, Cynthia Olson, says administration is now focusing on finalizing the operator and design build request for proposals. However, she was unable to provide a revised timeline for when crews will start cutting down trees or when shovels will be in the ground.
We are working as quickly as possible. Our critical pieces are finalizing the operator and the design build, and then we'll be able to know more about timelines. And as soon as we can share that with the media and with the public, we will certainly do so.
Olson adds that the $2.8 million in funding from the province is still secure, and they're hoping to have partial occupancy by the end of the year.
Part of the council report, part of our funding was to have partial occupancy by December of this year, and the remaining in the end of February. Have them built and open for occupancy as well. Those are the timelines that we're working with right now.
Administration is also in the process of establishing a neighborhood liaison committee, as well as a People with Lived Experience Advisory Committee. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The city is making changes to when people can use the Marina Park pedestrian overpass. Starting this fall, the span will be closed nightly from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. due to updated marina access protocols. The overpass, which was fully restored several years ago, has been having ongoing issues with public defecation and vandalism. The City Commissioner of Infrastructure and Operations, Kayla Dixon, says those types of incidents are a real safety concern. Signs will be installed at the overpass gates to notify pedestrians of the new hours and provide directions to alternate access and entrances.
Even after significant efforts from the city, so we do clean that structure regularly, litter debris pickup as well as power washing of that structure. We do continue to see issues with litter, vandalism, as well as some perceived safety concerns around loitering. So we are looking to gate the facility, so basically at the base of the ramps and into the structure, that'll be closed between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m.
The new overpass gates should be completed later this fall, followed by the entrances being locked each night.
An inquest began today into the death of a contract worker 5 years ago at the Lac des Îles mine located north of Thunder Bay. 64-year-old Edward Gallant was from New Brunswick and was employed by SCR Mining and Tunneling based out of Sudbury. He was working underground as a mechanic for the mine's elevator when the fatal incident occurred on May 27, 2020. Today, the inquest jury heard Gallant was partially buried and pinned against a steel railing by an unplanned run of rock and liquid material called muck. He was pronounced dead in the mine ambulance while en route to hospital. His cause of death was determined to be from positional asphyxia due to abdominal compression. The inquest is being held virtually. It's scheduled for 6 days with about 10 witnesses testifying.
An Ontario MPP representing Sault Ste. Marie has been expelled from Doug Ford's Conservative caucus.
Chris Scott was arrested for assault and assault with a weapon over the weekend. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the story.
Please get out and vote for Chris Scott.
That was the Premier campaigning with Chris Scott in Sault Ste. Marie in February. 7 months later, the rookie MPP finds himself on the outs with the Progressive Conservative Party.
Chris will be no longer sitting with our caucus.
It means Scott will sit as an independent when the legislature reconvenes next month. The 35-year-old removed from the PC caucus after he was criminally charged over the weekend. Chris Scott now faces a charge of assault and assault with a weapon. He's been released on $5,000 bail. A publication ban limits what we can share about the case. Scott is a former advisor to the Premier's office, but Doug Ford said little about the charges.
I was informed literally in the parking lot as we're going through here. And yeah, go to Sault Ste. Marie, please. I don't want to interfere in a police investigation.
Police in the Sault say the arrest was carried out by Toronto police and that they're refraining from sharing more to protect the identity of any victim or victims. Scott created a stir when it was announced he'd carry the PC banner in Sault Ste. Marie, accused of being a parachute candidate. He won the election by a little over 100 votes over the NDP challenger.
It feels incredibly humbling.
Scott went on to be appointed parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Energy and Mines.
Global demand for these critical minerals is only going up.
That title and party designation gone. His office dark. New Democrats say Scott needs to resign immediately.
That was CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. The United Way of Thunder Bay has launched its annual fundraising campaign. The kickoff happened at the Better is Possible breakfast this morning, which brought together area businesses, community agencies, and local leaders. The United Way shared the main pillars of the campaign, which are supporting youth, addressing homelessness, and building a sustainable food system across the region. Breakfast attendees also had the chance to hear from local people with lived experience. This year's theme is Everyday Heroes, as the United Way wants to inspire people and show that the community can make a difference by working together.
We all can step up, we can all help address those issues of poverty, homelessness, etc. And we're encouraging our workplaces, our friends and supporters, community groups, to think about how they can be everyday heroes and make a difference for our community.
More information about the Better is Possible campaign can be found on the United Way website.
A note to local drivers. Starting this Thursday, traffic lanes will be reduced on West Arthur Street between Highway 61 and Parkdale Boulevard. The new paving and other upgrades are aimed at revitalizing one of the city's busiest arterial roadways. The work is expected to take around 6 weeks to complete, weather permitting, and includes asphalt resurfacing and repairs to curbs and gutters, catch basins, and maintenance holes. For everyone's safety, motorists are reminded to drive with caution near the construction zone and expect traffic delays in the area. Project engineer Michael Pontello says rotating lane closures will be in place with a minimum of 1 lane of traffic in each direction being maintained.
Yeah, that'll be the minimum. At times there may be more, but I think the public should expect a minimum of 1 lane will be maintained. Just plan ahead, give yourself some extra time to get through the zone and in order to reach your destination on time.
The work should be completed around the end of October.
The Thunder Bay Museum has launched its first ever 50-50 draw to help pay for upgrades to its facility on Donald Street. People can already purchase tickets online or in person at the museum's front desk. The 50-50 replaces the annual classic car raffle, which ran for about 20 years. And although the raffle may come back someday, Museum Executive Director Scott Bradley says the 50-50 draw won't cost nearly as much to organize and run. The proceeds from the new fundraiser will help support the museum's operations as well as capital expenses for a renovation project.
We've been here in this building at the old Fort William Courthouse and Police Station since 1994, and a lot of the renovations that were done at that time, those things are starting to kind of reach their end of life. You know, roof and HVAC equipment and paint and all these kind of things. And so we're really looking to reinvest in the building, to renovate and keep this historic building. And so some of the proceeds from this raffle will go to support that.
The 50-50 runs until November 2nd, with the draw on November 3rd.
ThunderCon has officially wrapped up for another year, closing out a weekend of cosplay and pop culture at the CLE Fairgrounds.
Organizers note they had huge crowds once again and are already looking forward to next year's event. Emma Chilton was there.
That's a wrap on ThunderCon, leaving thousands of fans satisfied with cool merch buys and celebrity panels. Guest speaker Harlan Blaine Kaitwehat tells us why he enjoys attending these events.
I love doing these kind of events, right? And I like to always say when I make the post on Instagram, I didn't go make new friends, or I didn't go meet new people. I came and made new friends. And it's an environment where I feel the safest, because deep down, I'm like the biggest nerd, biggest geek. And back at home, it's kind of hard to be that. So when I'm here, I feel like I'm with my fellow people.
The event is not only a paradise for pop culture, but also fundraises for important causes. Klingon Tav says they are fundraising for the Kidney Foundation this year.
Klingons are part of an international group, and that's what we do. When we go to a con, we like to raise money for different organizations or different causes. And this year our big cause was the Kidney Foundation, because around May last year I fainted, and turns out that I was in kidney failure. So I mean, this cause is close to me, close to my heart, I guess, because the Kidney Foundation is a very good organization that helps a lot of people.
We spoke to attendees and they shared why they love ThunderCon.
Well, I just really like going there. It's really fun. I like to see people's fantastic and spectacular costumes. And I also like seeing what they have and like the toys and stuff. I usually buy some and meet some new friends here.
Well, I thought it would come by, and it's been a couple of years since I've last been here. So might as well go down memory lane, see what's here, with my interest and such.
Board chair for ThunderCon, Amanda Kapar, says ThunderCon officials are looking forward to next year's convention.
We are definitely going again next year. I can't say we're necessarily going to be bigger because this is the biggest venue in the city, but we are going to be better because we get better every year.
Emma Chilton, TBT News.
Well, those amazing cosplays certainly brightened up the weekend. As for today, another great day, but Fiona, happy fall equinox.
Yeah, very first day of fall, and actually, to be exact, it started at 2:19 this afternoon, and it was kind of a gray start to it. We had a lot of fog, we had a lot of mist. The majority of the rain starting through the region, staying to the south, but as you note, we've had a lot of disturbance, and that kind of justified that misty, foggy morning and then cloudy all afternoon. Winds were relatively light, primarily out of the east, 10 to 15 kilometers per hour, but temperature-wise, overnight it was crazy mild. Just 15 was our low, and that's why it only warmed up 4 degrees, but still went above normal for this time of year. So not sure if I want to complain or not. If we take a look at what's going on across the region, if you headed further west, you were out of that unstable zone as that system moved to the south. So Fort Frances, loads of sunshine. Red Lake has had kind of a mixed bag. They've been fluctuating between mostly sunny and mostly cloudy, which is what they're at. But check out these temperatures, 22 for both Fort Frances and Red Lake, 23 in Kenora, and the humidex in those areas at this point is sitting between about 25 and 26, so very warm to the west. As you head further east, a little bit cooler, but Armstrong and Greenstone, under partly cloudy skies, still enjoying 20 Celsius, no humidex to speak of, but still well above the normal high of about 15, 16 that they should be getting. It's along the lake shore, still above normal, but consistently cooler. We've got 18 in Atikokan to the west, then 19 in Atikokan, then 18 in Nipigon, Marathon, and Wawa. Sault Ste. Marie, 19. They had cloud and mist all day. It's just been since 5 o'clock that they saw a little bit of sunshine peek through, but that rain started to also push in, and there's a lot of that on the way. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, there's about a 30% chance of a shower or two this evening, but we're looking at another very mild overnight low of 13 as those fog patches develop again. Winds very light, just 5K, so it's going to be a foggy night. It's going to be another foggy day to start, and a fair amount of cloud, but the temperatures, all that heat to the west that they saw today, that is heading our way, and I'll have more details on what could be a pretty glorious work week, which is about right for this time of year, a sunny week, and then a gray, foggy weekend, so it's either good news or not.
All right, well, I'm just going to focus on the glorious days ahead and kind of latch onto that as we move forward.
The irony that is Mother Nature.
Yeah, all right. Okay, thanks, Fiona.